Yeah, I feel like I've always suffered with some form of depression, um, kind of for as long as I can remember. Honestly, I feel oddly distant from the music a lot of the times. Like I write it and I have a moment where I feel very personal, and then it kind of goes away from me, and then it feels more personal when I then perform it.
So today I'm here with VÉRITÉ.
Yes.
I'm so excited. So you were born in Orange County in New York, right?
I was.
What was it like growing up, or what were you into back then?
That's an hour outside New York City, and so it gets to be very country quickly. So cows and apple orchards, and so it was nice growing up with so much space.
Wow. What were you into as a kid, other than music, earlier on?
I mean, I played soccer and basketball at some points in my life. Sports were very short-lived. I don't know, I grew up listening to 90s alternative radio and, I don't know, just filling the time.
What kind of subjects were you into back then?
None. I was really good at math.
Oh, okay.
And then I haven't taken a math class in years.
But your dad, is he a musician full-time or just with you?
No, he played music with me when I was younger, but he's a professor.
Oh, what does he teach?
He teaches graphic design and art history.
Oh, so is your mom also creative?
She's a professor as well.
Oh, did she teach the similar thing? Or?
She teaches marketing and advertising.
Oh wow, so you definitely got your creative side from them then.
Yeah, exactly.
Did they always let you do creative stuff earlier on? Didn't really push you to do, you had to do study something academic or?
No, they're very chill, so I was always free to do whatever I wanted.
But you started learning piano when you were 8, right? Was it something that your parents wanted you to do, or?
I think it was just, I actually don't remember. It was definitely nothing that was forced on me, but I was always very self-motivated to practice and get better.
Back then, they were always encouraging you to do music. Did they think it was fun for you to do music full-time?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's not weird. My parents just don't care what I do. Not that they don't care, but I feel like I was always just free to pursue whatever. I feel like they raised me to just be very independent.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that freedom, but then have a safety net, of really badass people to go back to.
When you were younger, you started you were in 2 bands, right?
I was in a lot of bands.
Oh wow. And it was one was called No Smoking, right?
Yeah, it's a bad band name.
What age were you when you started that band?
12. Yeah, I was young.
Were you always the singer and doing piano?
Back then I was playing guitar.
But you performed a lot when you were younger too, you drove into New York and everything.
Yeah, that was when I was probably 16, 17. And I would drive my minivan down to the city.
How did you get your name out there at such an early age?
My name wasn't out there. No one was at those shows.
But to perform?
Yeah, no one was there.
For studying your Bachelor of Arts music, was that something that you wanted to do? Did you always want to have a degree, or was that something you're oh, I guess I'll just have one just in case, or?
Yeah, I think I graduated high school early. I never liked school, but I didn't know what else to do, so I figured I would get a degree.
Yeah.
It hasn't really done me any good.
Did you learn more of the technical side of music, or?
Yes and no. You know what it is, I worked full time through college, and so my focus was very split. And so I definitely didn't get everything out of college that I could have if I actually participated.
Yeah. But you wanted to do a MBA, right? If you weren't to do music full time.
Yeah, I would totally get an MBA. I still might get an MBA.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You want to start your own company, right?
Yeah, I mean, in essence, I do have a company. It's just more focused on creative now. But the idea is to kind of, I don't know, grow and then be able to create a platform for maybe other artists, or I don't know, there are limitless possibilities.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But I do have to tie my shoe. There we go.
And after you graduated, is that when you started working at Applebee's, or was that during when you were in college?
When I was in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started waitressing when I was 14, and I started at Applebee's when I was 18.
How did you have the confidence to quit Applebee's and just start doing music full time?
Because I was so busy making music and running the business side that I didn't have enough time to sleep.
Oh, wow.
And so I think once you hit that point, it's okay to transition from a full-time job.
Yeah. Were you ever scared of like just one day just like doing music full time?
I was definitely horrified, but honestly, I needed to take the step.
Mm-hmm. But your parents also always given you like encouragement or like to be really, really hardworking to pursue what you like, right? Or was that something you found inside you?
Both, I guess. I feel like my parents just instilled a very hard work ethic in me, and so all of my siblings are the same. We all just work and are very focused in what we do.
Oh, wow. How many are you?
I have two brothers.
Oh, what do they do creative stuff as well, or?
My younger brother is a dancer, so he's in school for musical theater. My older brother is pseudo-genius. He's a data analyst.
Have you always had this sort of like split personality, like a part of you doing creative stuff and the other part, like you want to get your MBA, like you like spreadsheets or in a different interview?
Yeah, I love spreadsheets. I have always had like a split personality in that way, and I'm really good at compartmentalizing. So for me, I think it helped me as an artist because I'm able to be independent because I was able to kind of separate the business from the creative.
When you were first starting out, you did a lot of stuff via like email, right?
Yeah.
Was that something, because you mentioned before that you felt like really introverted, and or is that your way of working?
Both. I think back then I was much less comfortable being in the same room with people and working, and also I was very busy, and so it was a very time-efficient way to work.
How do you feel like being an introvert has influenced the way you make music?
I think it allows me to be more introspective and spend more time with myself and overanalyze myself a little bit more.
How did you decide to like move completely to New York, or was it like an easy leap?
I just moved after college, so it was easy. It was somewhere to be.
And from like the onset, you didn't really want to sign with the label. Was that something that you heard a lot of stuff about previously in the media, like bad things that can happen, or like what made you give you that mindset?
When I was younger, I had been involved in some like distant relative of the music business and had accidentally signed a bad contract that wasn't very beneficial and kind of left me in a bad position, and so I think I went into this project very skeptically when it came to signing any sort of contract.
Yeah. Did you have a mentor since you started doing music?
No, I would like a mentor.
It's pretty difficult, like when you were younger, just finding everything yourself because your parents are in the music industry. And
yeah, I think it's just trial and error and you figure it out.
And in some of your songs you like wrote about like depression, right?
Oh, for sure.
Was that something that has been like recurring a lot in your life, or?
Yeah, I feel like I've always suffered with some form of depression, kind of for as long as I can remember, and so I think writing about it is just a very natural, not cathartic process. It's kind of like more uncomfortable than that, but in the end, performing it is cathartic.
How do you think like that influenced the way you create music?
I think it's the same as like being introverted. I think it just allows me a broader space to overanalyze and like navigate my mind.
Do you ever feel like you're showing a lot of yourself, like talking about these topics in your music? Like from the onset, did you ever think like, wow, like everyone knows too much about me, or?
I don't really care if people know too much or know things. And honestly, I feel oddly distant from the music a lot of the times. Like I write it and I have a moment where I feel very personal, and then it kind of goes away from me, and then it feels more personal when I then perform it.
Is it ever difficult performing these songs because it's like so much of you?
No, I think it's more difficult like physically, like vocally, but not mentally.
How do you think you've changed since you first started writing music?
Musically, I think I've just gotten much better at conveying ideas that I want conveyed, whether sonically or metaphorically. And I think personally, I'm much more outgoing and like, I guess willing to take risks and like okay in general. So I think I've definitely grown into a better person. Or I hope I have.
What would you tell your younger self?
Get the fuck over yourself. I don't know, and like get out of bed.
Do you think like by not having a label you have to like be more like structured in the way you do things?
Yeah, I think it comes back to compartmentalization, and you just have to be really okay with being uncomfortable and not having enough money and taking really ballsy risks and, you know, kind of not leaving yourself room to fail.
I read in a previous interview that you wanted like your career to be like Katy Perry.
Ooh, did I say that? I have nothing against Katy Perry. I think more so, if you could put me somewhere in between, like Lord, Florence and the Machine, and Fancy
Yeah,
Graham,
I see that. Yeah.
I'd be a happy camper.
Oh. And so you were like writing postcards to your fans, right?
Yeah.
How did you come up with that idea?
I was bored. When I get home from tour, it's like usually not a good time. Just because you're used to being so busy and going so fast, and then you come home and everything's slow. And so I was kind of searching for meaning in life and my career, and so I figured like people seem to care about me and the music and the project, and so why not just be nice to them?
Yeah. How did you come up with the idea? That you see something online, or you just thought it yourself?
Just thought of it.
That's so
honestly.
cool. Yeah. And last question, what do you want to be remembered for?
I guess being nice and kind. I think if people remembered me that way, I would be satisfied.
Oh yeah, so sweet. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Bye.